So you started it, the video?
Sure did.
All right. We're good to go. Well, I have 6:59. My sister used the gavel. It's not a good day for people cheering things. Until the meeting starts. All right, 7 o'clock.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we are going to do a roll call. I will note for the record that Mayor Dury Slinker is absent. Alderman Plank?
Here.
Alderwoman Old?
Here.
Alderman Wilson?
Here.
Alderman Lewis?
Here.
And I guess I will note for the record that I'm present. That gives us 4 people, which is a quorum, although we would need 4 votes, affirmative votes on anything to pass it.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, we will move on to the approval of the September 19th, 2023 minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review those? Any comments? All right, I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor of approving the September 19th, 2023 minutes, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? All right, those have been approved. I'll entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda, which was circulated last week. Anyone gonna make that motion? All right, second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the agenda is approved. There are copies in the back for anyone who needs them. We have no special items, no appointments to boards and commissions, no scheduled public comment, no public hearings, no first readings, no old business. We do have one resolution under new business, and that is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute change order number 2 with M&L Landscaping and Construction LLC for the South Main Street Waterline and Resurfacing Project. Mr. Creel.
Members of the board, before you this evening is change order number 2 regarding the South Main Street Waterline Resurfacing Project. The purpose of change order number 2 is to address some discrepancies within the paving plan. As you might recall, during change order number 1, there were several items that were approved, such as 3 manholes being raised, the installation or replacement of 2 new culverts. And during that, it was simply missed by everybody that we did not calculate for the increased pavement needs relating to those items. So that's part of the reason for the change order. There's more information, or another reason for the change order is the a lot of the pavement just simply broke off, and that needs to be repaired in order to provide a good solid base for the new roadway surface. Stephen Lynn from Allstate Consultants is here, along with Heather and Marty Masters from MMLC, to discuss what the issues are and why this change order is necessary. So I'll turn it over to Stephen.
Hi, good evening. Stephen Lynn with Allstate Consultants. So as Mr. Creel indicated, we had planned for asphalt subgrade on change order 1. However, with the additional change orders from storm and sidewalk, it created a little bit extra, the need for extra asphalt for kind of a trench repair. Also, in Mr. Creel's notes here, it was discussed, it wasn't originally discussed on change order 1 that is it Laurel Lane and Wilson Lane. We had originally just left that as just a 2-inch mill and 2-inch asphalt overlay. However, kind of discussions with city staff and a contractor, there's a lot of garbage truck traffic down those streets would be the heaviest loads, and we are afraid that there wasn't enough adequate asphalt under the excavated trenches on those streets. So this change order would essentially add additional 2 inches of asphalt base for those 2 streets. So also to kind of maximize the funds for this project, we were looking at decreasing the overall thickness of Main Street. We have bid basically a 3-inch overlay across Main Street from Henry Clay Boulevard all the way to Broadway. So with this change order, we're decreasing it by 1/2 inch. So basically over the excavated trench, we'll add 2 inches of asphalt base and then come over on top of that with 2.5 inches of asphalt. So in the excavated trench areas, there'll be 4.5 inches of asphalt over those. And then the untouched pavements will get milled down 2.5 inches, and then new 2.5 inches of asphalt will be placed over that. So essentially, this all kind of comes up to you a change order of $8,788 on this change order number 2.
So you mentioned the difference between going over the trenches and the untouched. And I live on Main Street. There's hardly any of that street that hasn't been touched. So does this take into account all of that?
Yes, I think the majority of Main Street, if I'm not correct, is the good portion of Main Street still has, what, 6-7 inches of 8 inches of asphalt. So that's why we're decreasing it by 1/2 inch. But I think the untouched areas still have a pretty good thickness of existing asphalt that should suffice as a good base. So.
And to touch on that, the paving contractor, Christensen Paving, advised that they would warranty the 2.5 inch overlay just the same as they would have the 3. That they just stated it's probably
That's what I was
not
gonna ask.
necessary.
Very good.
So, I think if this change order is approved, I think I'll speak for the contractor that he had the paving subcontractor was scheduled to start later this week, weather pending. So I think we're projected to get some rain here on Wednesday night or something. So.
Okay, any other questions?
No. And then I would like to add, we are working with the contractor. There will be another change order for final quantities. Right now, we are projecting roughly a $15,000 to $20,000 deduct on the next change order, which would be change order number 3. So that change order basically covers the entire project. There were quite a bit of extra fittings, valves that weren't needed, so those will be deducted from the cost on the project. So.
And when can we expect that?
Probably next month, probably.
What is today? It's Thursday. Depending on, I would say the first meeting of next month would be fair. We'd love to be able to do it 2 weeks from now, but we need to be able to get that resurfacing completed. Change order number 3 will be completed during the closeout of the project.
So, yeah, you should have basically all the streets. Well, if the subcontractor starts later this week, I would say by the end of next week, all the streets should be paved, repaved. So.
Thank you.
So, is there any other questions for me or the contractors here for questions as well? So.
All right, can I have one question? One question of the contractor. Does he need to come up to the podium or not?
He can, yeah.
Okay.
I'll invite you up, sir.
On the spot, Mark.
I think it's better from here on the video feed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can hear better too.
Yes, sir.
How do you feel about the progress of both projects, the main and then the Perry? How are things moving along? Just general perception?
Perry's a little bit slow. South Main project went very well, very smooth,
Okay.
very quick, a lot quicker than I anticipated, so. Yeah, I mean, Perry, we're just trying to get started.
Yeah.
I think it really should go pretty well once we get going with it. We're just trying to get our materials and just some finalization of some plans and grades because of the road width of 32 feet and just trying to make sure everything, our ducks are in a row before we really take off with that. So I would say in the next couple of weeks, it's really going to start moving pretty good with Perry Avenue.
Yeah.
But as far as the South Main job, it went smooth. I mean, really well, I thought.
Good.
A lot of times going up old part of town like this is very difficult. Things you find, run into, things are supposed to be there a certain way is not. And we ran into a few of those along the way, but we were able to address those and get those knocked out pretty quick and hopefully to a minimal amount of disruption to, everybody other than just the traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I'd like to add, living on the street, your crew has been really good about accommodating people trying to get in and out and taking care of, normal business, trying to not disrupt things too much. So I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate that too. I know it's a little dusty and dirty on there and it's dirtier and we like to keep our job site. But, we haven't had any rain and any weather along the way to help keep that down. So apologize for that.
That's part of life. Your crew has been really good.
So thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, anything else? All right, I will entertain a motion on the resolution authorizing the mayor to execute change order number 2 with M&L Landscaping and Construction LLC for the South Main Street Waterline and Resurfacing Project.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All right, I think we need to do a roll call. Alderman Plank?
Aye.
Alderwoman Old?
Aye.
Alderman Wilson?
Aye.
And Alderman Lewis?
Aye.
All right, that resolution is approved. We will move on to reports, city attorney's report.
Nothing for you all tonight.
Okay, interim police chief's monthly report.
Yes, ma'am. Nothing real exciting, I don't know, let's see here. More or less steady numbers from last month. We did, felt very fortunate, we had a deck collapse under 3 of our officers over on 100 block of East Side. They were helping EMS carry a patient out on a soft litter and deck collapsed. Now, it's not a big fall, but if you've ever missed a step at the bottom of some stairs, it doesn't take much, especially when you're carrying someone. And so it felt like we got really lucky out of the injuries there, nobody hurt. We had, on the 25th of September, we had Jeff Behringer, a young man, Ashland resident, we hired him back in May. He went to the academy and he graduated the academy at the top of his class and went to work. He's a former school principal, which is a little bit unusual for us. But he started field training on the 25th with Rick Smith. He was on the deck that fell. And Troy Paris, a young man we hired in August 7th, he finished field training today. And so he starts Thursday, I believe, on his own, which will help us.
So that's numbers on that, chief, and for your staff?
That would get us up to that,
6?
well, as of right now, then we've got 3 full-time officers loose on the road.
Yeah.
We have 1 in field training, and then I'm about to finish. I've hired another young man who's already also a Boone County officer who will start November 1. And he'll have a pretty abbreviated field training because he's already a police officer in Boone County. And so his transition will be pretty rapid. That'll get us to 5.
Outstanding.
Which leaves us 2 openings for officers. Well, we have, of course, we have a sergeant. So we were budgeted, I believe, for 7 officers, 1 sergeant, our police clerk, and myself. So 10 people total. That'll leave us 2 openings. And we do have some applications in, working that process. So one of the next steps, I know people are eager to get back to 24-hour-a-day coverage. One of the discussions that I'll be having with Mr. Michael will be covering, basically it takes about 6 bodies to cover 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, right? And so what might be a better use of us is to, because one of the things we've really heard on is that we've had like 12 hours a night of on-call time, right? Where cops have been called out, which cost us overtime, cost us on-call pay, and of course it's horrible for them, getting called, a 12-hour turnaround, it's just tough. And so when that 12 hours gets cut to 8 hours or 6 hours, that's a really tough turnaround. And so what we're considering is we're looking at possibilities right now of having an overlapping schedule and still leaving some time uncovered in the wee hours of the morning. So say you have a 12-hour shift from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then an overlapping shift from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m., something like that. You still have an on-call stretch in there, but it's at the slowest time of the day. And even if we have an officer called out, then at that point, instead of having to pay them overtime or comp time, they would just adjust their schedule that day. So if the 6 a.m. cop got called in at 4, he'd just take off 2 hours early in the afternoon. We'd still have someone there. And that might be a better use of our manpower than a really thin 24-hour coverage. And so those are things we'll be juggling. And of course, as we add a couple more bodies, all that'll just get better and better. And I know probably every police chief ever has said this, but I'm confident that these guys are, confident as I can be, these guys are going to stick around for a while, and which will be really good for us, because obviously turnover is very, very expensive for us. And so that's what we're working on. Pretty optimistic, hopefully.
Great, thank you.
Any questions? Anything?
That's terrific news, Chief, thanks.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, folks.
All right, next report, we're gonna go to the Alderman reports. We'll start with you, Alderman Plank.
Okay, very good. I just got a couple little things. At the Ashland Betterment Coalition meeting last night, they wanted me to make sure that I talked to you, Chief Young, about, on December the 8th, they've got the reindeer coming to town where the kids can take pictures with the reindeer and Santa Claus.
Okay.
But this will be over at the In Any Event location at the corner of Henry Clay and Johnson, I think behind the building there.
Okay.
So they thought there might potentially be some traffic problems that night. It's our Friday night, December the 8th. So it just,
7th and 8th of
the 8th of December.
December.
Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of let you know that, looking ahead, see, that might be a possibility where there would be some traffic problems.
Okay. And I can email you for contact info over there, and we'll
You sure can?
see who to talk to. Okay.
Yeah. And then I had a resident that lives on Trotter Lane. He said well, he sent me pictures of his son. His son had a bicycle accident on Trotter Lane, and the resident is upset because he feels like it's the city's fault because there are several potholes in the street. So I just thought I'd better relay that. I think you've got a plan, James, to.
Yep, Trotter Lane is it's on the overlay list for next year, and it will really round out the majority of the higher volume streets in what we call the subdivisions, Palomino Ridge, West Oaks, and Sunset Meadows. So it'll take care of a lot of them between what we're doing this year and then Trotter Lane. That'll really finish out Palomino Ridge. We'll continue to move west through Sunset Meadows. There's a large loop that we want to do there. And then you're down to just the little cul-de-sacs for the most part. So, but we have to jump around. So we'll do that one next year along with some other ones. We're gonna get back to Middleton Crossing. There was one that we were on the list for an alternate this year that we weren't able to do. But
Is there any temporary patching you can do of the potholes?
yeah, we've actually done a fair amount of temporary patching over there. I spoke with that resident, and he explained to me that he just wanted to try and get the city to give more money to streets so we could get on these things. And I reminded him that voters recently passed a sales tax provision that will allow for an increased street repair budget. So they could expect more in the future, but that has to be allowed to mature before we can begin utilizing them.
Good. All right, anything else? Okay, Alderman Gold? No report. No report from me. Alderman Wilson?
No report.
Alderman Lewis?
The only thing I have, I got a call from a constituent concerning the new speaker system at the high school. And was this would have been last Thursday. I'm not sure if it was a JV game or something, but.
That would be 7th and 8th grade football.
Was that 7th and 8th grade? Okay. But concerned about increased level of noise. I thought, oh no, shades of Lakeside Ashland here, but I did contact Dr. Roth, and we had a discussion about that. And he said, you know, it could be a variety of issues. One is it is a new system. The previous speakers were actually on the east side of the stadium, pointed west, and these new ones are on the other side and on the north, so they're pointed west. They're on the east, but pointed west and south, so the sound does travel further.
Yeah, I could hear it in Middleton.
Yeah, and I could hear it inside my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, and very plainly. Also, there was a new announcer that night, or a different announcer that night, who was, you could tell, was very excited about the game.
Well, I would assume that they're still restricted by the decibel, is there, so
He
if
did
there's a
say
complaint-
they had been out testing,
Okay.
and it didn't say what the results were, but he said he and Mr. Tracy had been out testing the decibel level. But they were gonna contact the company that put them in, see if they can angle the speakers down further toward the stadium so it's not going out quite as much, adjusting the volume. And also weather's got something to do with it sometimes,
does.
because there are some nights, or some mornings, and I'm over in West Oaks, I can hear every word of the announcements from the primary school, if the wind's blowing in the right direction. You know, it's not offensive, but
But I think we
I
have
did
that with,
notice, I think there was a game last night, and the noise level, although I could hear it if I was listening for it, it wasn't anything like it was last Thursday, so hopefully they're figuring it out, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all.
Thanks for the update. All right, we are now, it's time for general comments by the public. Any other general comments from anyone? All right, we thought this was gonna be a short meeting, and I think we might have set a record.
It's the shortest of my career.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we're adjourned.
Excellent job.